Scrum Masters Elite_UK welcomes Ellie Kildunne to the Bristol Bears, a choice and a statement of ambition. Please subscribe to the channel.
When I first came across the information that Ellie Kildunne had decided to join the Bristol Bears ahead of the 2026-27 season, what stood out to me was not simply a headline-grabbing transfer or a high-profile signing. What interested me more was the meaning behind a career decision made while an athlete is at the peak of their form. In elite sport, people often only see trophies, statistics, or major investments, but behind every team change is always a story of ambition, transformation, and choices that can shape the rest of a career. I feel this is not merely a case of a star leaving the Harlequins to move to Bristol Bears. It is a milestone showing that even those who have already succeeded continue searching for environments that help them develop further. Ellie Kildunne had a memorable spell at Harlequins. 5 seasons, 60 appearances, and 2 semi-final finishes are achievements any player would be proud of. This was not a short or insignificant chapter in her career. On the contrary, it formed an important foundation that helped her build her name and establish her position in women's rugby.
Because of that, leaving was likely not an easy decision. People often judge change only by the final outcome, without considering the emotions and reflections behind it. When an athlete spends many years at a club, that place is not just a workplace. It holds memories, friendships, victories, defeats, and moments of personal growth. Leaving a familiar environment to begin a new journey always requires courage. What caught my attention is that Kildunne previously shared she was unsure which club she would play for in the future. That detail gave me the impression that her decision-making process was thoughtful rather than rushed. Fans sometimes assume top athletes always have perfectly planned careers. But reality is often different. Even the most successful people go through periods of uncertainty. They need time to reflect, weigh options, and understand what they truly want. I was especially impressed by how she spoke about Bristol Bears. She did not focus on personal benefits or glamorous promises. Instead, she emphasized playing style, collective ambition, team belief, and an environment that fits how she wants to express herself on the field. That made me think deeply about the idea of fit. In life, the best place is not always the most suitable place. An environment can be highly successful, but still not allow an individual to fully express their potential. Conversely, sometimes a developing team is exactly the place where someone can shine. I believe Kildunne chose based on alignment between her personal values and the club's direction, something many people overlook when making important decisions. Another point that made me reflect was head coach Scott Lawson calling the signing a strong statement of ambition. In sport, ambition is not expressed through words alone. It must be proven through actions. When a club signs one of the best players in the world, it signals their intent to compete at the highest level. But what is interesting is that ambition here comes not only from the club, but also from the player. If Kildunne only wanted to maintain her current position, she could have chosen safety and familiarity. Instead, stepping into a new chapter shows she still wants to challenge herself. I always admire people who are not satisfied with standing still, even after achieving so much. Looking at what she has achieved recently, from winning the Six Nations Championship to continuing to establish her influence in the England setup, it is clear she is in a peak period of her career. At such a time, every decision carries extra weight. The right choice can open new success. The wrong one can slow momentum. For that reason, her move to Bristol Bears reflects strong belief in her chosen direction. What I like most in this story is the presence of the collective spirit. Even though Kildunne is a major star, her comments focus on the team, teammates, fans, and shared goals. She talks about creating memorable experiences together. That reminds me that team sport has a unique beauty. Individuals can change games, but lasting success is built on connection between many people.
I also sense the special role of fans in this decision. When she mentions the atmosphere at Ashton Gate and the passion of Bristol supporters, it becomes clear that crowd energy means far more than many people think. For spectators, it may be only a few hours of cheering each week. For athletes, it can directly influence emotion and performance. From a fan's perspective, there is an important lesson here. We often love a player and hope they stay forever at our favorite club. However, an athlete's career belongs to them. They have the right to seek new challenges, new environments, and new opportunities. Genuine support is not always about keeping them at all costs, but respecting their choices even when those choices feel disappointing. For me personally, the biggest lesson is the courage to change. Many of us stay too long in familiar environments and hesitate to step out. We fear failure, losing what we already have, or starting over. But this story suggests that growth often comes with change. Not every change leads to success, but refusing to change when opportunities arise can mean missing valuable experiences. I also learned that success is not a final destination. Even after becoming one of the most prominent figures in her sport, Kildunne continues seeking new motivation. This shows that exceptional people often differ in how they view achievement, not as a reason to stop, but as a foundation for what comes next.
More broadly, this reflects a positive trend in modern women's sport. Big signings, public attention, star power, and club ambition all show that women's rugby continues to grow rapidly. As athletes like Ellie Kildunne become inspirations beyond the field, they contribute not only to performance but also to changing how society views women's sport. In conclusion, I do not see this as just a transfer. I see it as a story about choice at a crucial point in a career, about courage to leave comfort zones, ambition to keep moving forward despite success, and belief that the right environment can help unlock new limits. Whatever happens next at Bristol Bears, this decision already carries meaningful reflection. It reminds me that life is always moving. New chapters are not always easy, but they often create the most memorable marks. For fans, it is a chance to witness a new journey of a top athlete. For Kildunne, it is a new challenge. And for all of us, it is a reminder that growth often begins the moment we choose to step forward, even when the path ahead is still uncertain.
Scrum Masters Elite_UK says goodbye. Kildunne's journey reminds us, dare to change in order to grow further. See you again.